The South Park TV show is known for its edgy humor, in-depth political commentary, and some of the greatest episodes of television you will ever see. So you will hardly ever finish a South Park episode depressed. But South Park does have many episodes that have a very sad and dark theme to them. There was an episode where a character called Butters has his family destroyed over a very dark secret, which I will actually talk about that later on in the video. And there was an episode where Stan becomes fully depressed, and it's some really dark stuff. But the episode that literally sends chills down my spine, then to my anus, and then even deeper in my anus, was none other than Season 5 Episode 13, called Kenny Dies. There's been many episodes on television where I look at the mirror and I'm like, damn, I low-key don't want to be alive no more. But this episode of South Park made me feel the opposite, and actually make me feel grateful for the short life we have on this blue rock. And Kenny's death in this episode was so real, and was treated with so much tenderness and care by the writers, that it truly makes things like Brian's death from Family Guy look like a joke. Which again, I'll talk about that later on. But surprisingly, this episode starts off like any classic South Park episode.
Guess what I have sitting in my backyard?
A trampoline?
Better.
A boat?
Better. Better.
Well, what, Cartman?
33 aborted fetuses. Oh yes.
Now if you don't know who Kenny is, this dude used to die like his life depended on it. This dude dies more than my GTA Online character after I messed around with like a high level enemy. And his friends usually have the exact same reaction every time.
Oh my god! They killed Kenny! You bastard! Oh my god! I killed Kenny! You bastard! Oh my god! They killed Kenny!
The boys would say that like it was their catchphrase. Like, what fantastic friends you got there, Kenny. Didn't even try and call an ambulance. They just walked off. And because Kenny would die in basically every episode for the first many seasons, the writers of South Park, Matt Stone and Trey Parker, they got tired of the joke. And yeah, that's one thing I always loved about South Park. Matt and Trey don't care about what their fans think. If they think something should or shouldn't belong in the show, they will make their own decision. That's something that shows like Family Guy and American Dad have a really hard time doing. But here's the crazy thing. Matt and Trey were going to kill off a character anyways. And believe it or not, the character that they were planning to kill was our favorite Jew boy Kyle.
Around this time in the show, a new character began making its way towards main character status, that of course being Butters. With Butters having more and more screen time, it meant that the writers had to make some changes to the original cast. Initially, the creators actually wanted to kill off Kyle, as they felt he was too similar to Stan. However, I presume they recognized the outrage that would ensue if they had killed off a main character like Kyle for seemingly no reason. And with Kenny, it was relatively easy to justify killing him off, as dying is literally the main trait of his character, and that was starting to get old.
They saved our boy Kyle. And thank God they did, because we got this 10 out of 10 episode of Kenny. Now, like I stated earlier, whenever Kenny would die, the boys would say the classic, "Oh my god, they killed Kenny" line, and move along with their day. But in this episode, the writers, Matt and Trey, want you to feel this episode crawling up your spine. And with the sad music, they gave some of the most real reactions to not only Kenny's death, but the most real reactions to any death in South Park, arguably. They went above and beyond with this scene.
But the doctors are gonna make him better, right?
Oh dear.
Mom, that's what hospitals are for. They can make him better.
Randy.
Your friend is terminally ill, and that means... Well, son, that means he's going to be going to heaven soon.
Wait, Kenny's going to die?
He might, Kyle.
He needs you now more than ever.
No, this can't happen. Kenny can't die. Kenny can't die.
Those were some real reactions right there. That's exactly what I did in the year 2019 when my mom sat me down and told me that grandma didn't make me any fried chicken because she didn't have the sauce. So I know what heartbreak feels like. And this was it. And each character reacted to death in their own way. Kyle, no matter what, is trying to be strong and make sure everyone is okay. Stan is by far the most sad to see because he is so conflicted. He is the most depressed and is having a really hard time being strong. And we even have Cartman. Now Cartman in this episode shows how evil he truly is. This dude is like the son of like Hitler and Doja Cat. But I'll get to that later on in the video. But even he and Kyle have one of the rarest moments you will ever find in South Park history. And it could even shock grown men.
What?
Cartman?
Oh, Kyle. Hey, what's going down, Jew boy?
Cartman, were you crying?
No, I mean, I got something in my eyes. It's the air in here.
Wow.
Oh, man.
Hey, Cartman. I care a lot about him, too.
No effing way, dude. Is that Cartman?
I'm gonna
and
find a
Carl?
cure, Kyle. I swear to God, I'm gonna find a cure.
Sure you will, Cartman. Sure you will.
I have watched so many episodes of South Park, and I have never seen an episode where Kyle and Cartman are comforting each other, and there's no punchline or setup. Whoa.
And Cartman the entire episode is trying to do something with stem cells, which is supposed to like save Kenny. But let's just say if you think Cartman would ever do that, then you don't know who Cartman is. But one of the most heartbreaking storylines in all of South Park is Stan in this episode. Stan is having such a hard time seeing one of his best friends pass away, to the point where he can't even go and see him. And I mean, literally early on in the episode, when the boys tell Cartman about Kenny, I mean, just look at Stan's face here.
Cartman, Kenny's in the hospital.
In the hospital? Why?
They told us he has a muscular disease, and that he might die.
Stan can hardly even talk to Cartman. And then later on, Stan goes to Chef. And Chef makes him feel better, I guess. Chef gives him a very weird and hilarious speech where he's like, Kenny is going to die because God loves drinking human tears like milk and stuff. And that's what makes God happy and stuff. That was kind of weird. But Stan finally has the courage to talk to Kenny. And he comes with a gift. But the South Park writers think it's funny to mess with a real one's feelings while I'm trying to watch a South Park episode while I'm trying to eat my lunch. And we get one of the most saddest scenes in South Park history.
Hey, Kenny! Oh, no. No. Did he say anything before he went?
He just said, "Where's Stan?"
And Kenny is dead. And the episode ends with him not returning. Kenny gets a funeral, and Cartman shows everyone how evil he truly is. And how Cartman, no matter what, will always be Cartman.
You guys, come quick!
What, Cartman?
It's a miracle, you guys! I put the stem cells from all the fetuses I had next to Shakey's, and they are replicating a new Shakey's. Then there was the time I convinced a woman to have an abortion so I could build my own Shakey's pizza.
I actually hugged you. I held you in my arms and cried with you.
I figure I only need 100 or so more aborted babies, and I can finish up the kitchen. Hey, I wasn't Kenny's worst friend. Cartman was.
But here's where things get crazy. Everyone expected Kenny to show up for the next episode. But the next episode not only did not have Kenny, the entire episode was about Kenny's replacement character, Butters. I made another video on Butters replacing Kenny not that long ago, but it's scary how true this is. Butters became the character that Matt and Trey started building up, and then the next season started, and Kenny still wasn't there. Then people said, Kenny will come next episode, and he wasn't there either. And then people said the next episode, and nope, not there either. And this kept going on episode to episode, and people eventually gave up hope. And this was a genius play by Matt and Trey to show us, hey, good things don't last. And they wanted to make Kenny's death as serious as they could. And that's the main difference between South Park and shows like Family Guy. In Family Guy Season 12 Episode 6, the beloved character Brian Griffin dies. And a few weeks later, he's brought right back. Now, there's nothing wrong with bringing him back, but they didn't treat Brian's death with any real care like South Park did with Kenny.
Oh my god! Brian! Brian, can you hear me?
Holy crap, what the hell happened?
That guy sucked.
And I guess what I'm trying to say is, he was like a brother to me, and I'm gonna spend the rest of my life missing him.
We're all gonna miss him, Peter. We're all gonna miss him very much.
Damn it, Ortiz, stop swinging at junk.
If you compare that to Kenny's death, it's a night and day difference. Now don't get me wrong, I totally understand that Family Guy is a comedy, and it needs to have jokes in there no matter what. But so is South Park. South Park also needs jokes in there no matter what. But unlike Family Guy, South Park's comedy doesn't decrease the quality and value of the sad scenes from the Kenny episode. This Kenny episode does have jokes. I mean, the entire Cartman plot was the joke the whole time. And it had many other jokes as well.
Okay, hi, Randy, yeah. Oh, yes, they've been kept in a cool temperature, yeah. These are primo fetuses, Randy, I wouldn't jerk you around. So what can your company give me for them? Oh, Randy, you're breaking my balls here. You're breaking my balls, Randy. Oh, please, okay, you tell me where you can get aborted fetuses for 70 cents on the dollar. You tell me, Chuck. Yeah, I didn't think so. You know, I'm just like the fetuses, Chuck. I wasn't born yesterday either. Uh-huh. So you gonna talk to me, or are you just gonna keep bullshitting each other? Breaking my balls, Chuck.
So South Park is also a comedy, but they aren't going to handicap themselves. And this is kind of ironic because Family Guy episodes take a year to make, and South Park episodes only take 4 days to make. So Family Guy has much more time to make the perfect episode, but fail. And South Park time and time again have made perfect episodes in a matter of days. So it's kind of ironic. And yeah, by the way, I'm not like a Family Guy hater. It's the show I watched most of in my life. But the passion of South Park writers is something you just can't beat. The South Park writers are kind of like Rockstar games with like GTA and Red Dead, where it's more about passion than the business product. And it's sometimes hard to find the answer with Family Guy. But after a long time where Kenny didn't show up for many episodes, and we had some episodes where the boys literally tried building a ladder to heaven to see him again, which I might make a video on that like by itself, Kenny would just walk into South Park in the most South Park way possible.
Well, all in all, I have to say this was a pretty special Christmas.
Hey guys, what's going on?
Oh, hey, Kenny.
Dude, where have you been?
Now after Kenny's return, he wouldn't really get the same type of energy, but I already made a video on that. You can check out that if you want. But Kenny is still one of my favorite characters of all time. He's still morally one of the best characters on South Park, which sounds good in theory, but if you watch the show, it's basically saying Kenny has the best morals in Gotham City. But yeah, more videos on South Park coming soon. I think the new season should come out in a bit, especially after these lawsuits are done with the writers. And one thing I want to say, I know this video had more of like a serious tone than all my other videos, and yeah, I think it was appropriate, and I made this video right after I watched the episode, so that episode got me sad as hell. But yeah, make sure to like and subscribe.